Hi, today we're going to be talking about asbestos management for work health and safety. My name is Michael Terry, I'm from Momentum Safety and Ergonomics, and this is the 5-minute safety series. So asbestos is obviously something that we have in certain products and particularly in our buildings for certain buildings. Now it is going to vary depending on where you are as to what the likelihood of asbestos being there actually is. In Australia we know that our buildings built before 1991 have a much higher likelihood of having asbestos contained in them because of the fact that around this time asbestos was starting to be phased out. So certainly anything newer than 2001 should be okay, but we need to consider all possibilities when it comes to some of those older buildings. So how do you know whether a building really has asbestos in it? You really need to either engage a competent person to do that identification. It's not something that can be done by the average person. You can also just assume that it is in there because of the fact that the building was built around the time when asbestos was prolific. So both of those are okay, and they'll both sort of lead towards the same types of actions. Now, before we go any further, we just need to understand a couple of other things that will change the risk to do with the type of asbestos, and that is the type. So there's different types of asbestos. Some also increase the risk versus others. And then we have friable versus non-friable asbestos. Friable asbestos is asbestos that can be crumbled away and easily removed via non-mechanical means, whereas non-friable or bonded asbestos is contained within a substrate like glue, something like that, and it would take some sort of mechanical means like cutting or drilling to release that asbestos into the air. So once we identify that there is asbestos or assume that there is asbestos present in our building, we may do a further risk assessment on that actual asbestos. And it's important that we identify the high risk asbestos, like the friable asbestos, and that really should be removed. Some other types of non-friable asbestos, if they're very safe, very well contained, not likely to be disturbed, may actually be better left in place, so that the process of removing it might be riskier than actually leaving it there. So that can be part of the risk assessment as well. Okay, so we've done our risk assessments, we know where our asbestos is. We've talked about the option of eliminating or removing that asbestos from the workplace. The next thing that we do if we still have asbestos there is must create an asbestos register. So this is a list of all the places where asbestos is in the building, and this must be able to be produced and shown to, for example, tradespeople who come in and potentially doing work on the building. We must also develop an asbestos management plan. So the asbestos management plan gives us information about things like removal and disposal of our asbestos if we have it. Any training that we might be providing to our employees with regards to the asbestos location and things like when do you tell someone about the asbestos register, for example. Any time when we might need to do health monitoring, if there's been a potential exposure to asbestos, it's important that we do health monitoring of our employees afterwards. Any specific work procedures to do with that asbestos, and any specific PPE that might need to be used at different times of that asbestos. Now it is important that our asbestos management plan does specify that we're not to work on the asbestos unless it's absolutely necessary. So there we go guys, there's a quick summary of asbestos management within your building. There is a lot more requirements with regards to removal of asbestos, and there's particular licensing that's associated with that, but we're just talking about management of your asbestos within your building. The main takeaways from this session would be that you need to identify or assume that there is asbestos. If you've identified and there is no asbestos, happy days. If it is there or you assume it's there, you develop a register and you develop a comprehensive asbestos management plan, which includes all the details about how you're going to deal with that asbestos, how you're going to deal with the people that might potentially be coming in contact with it. Thanks for watching the 5-minute safety series. If you felt like you got some value out of these videos, please click on the screen to see some of the other videos in the 5-minute safety series, or otherwise feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel.